Heavenly encounters after near-death experiences. I always used to think that death was it, the full stop at the end of the sentence. But on a gorgeous summer day, during a kayaking trip that went horribly wrong, I learned it was anything but. I clinically died, and in those moments I didn't just see a light, I was held by it. In my experience, I was held by Christ, and He showed me what it felt like to truly be home. What I went through wasn't a dream, or what I think of as a hallucination. It felt more real than anything I've ever known, and it didn't just change my life, it changed my entire understanding of reality. Section 1. The Before, a life of certainty. Before that day, my life was built on solid ground. I'm a structural engineer. My world was physics, load-bearing walls, numbers, and materials I could test and prove. I believed in God, but it was sort of a distant Sunday morning thing. My real day-to-day faith? I put that in blueprints and hard evidence. My spirituality wasn't really a part of my daily life. It was more like a box I checked off. I was self-reliant, accomplished, and if I'm being honest, I didn't think I really needed God on a Monday. My great passion was being outdoors, in the wild architecture of nature. Kayaking was my sanctuary. There's a rhythm to it, a dance between the water's power and your own strength. I'd spent years on rivers, always feeling confident, always in control. The day of the accident felt no different. It was perfect. Warm sun, a brilliant blue sky, and the river felt like an old friend. My husband and I were with a group, just laughing and enjoying the rapids. There was no warning, no feeling of doom. It was just a beautiful, ordinary day, which makes what happened next feel even more profound. I never really thought about death, because life was so full, so present, so solid. Section 2. The Crisis, the river's fury. We were navigating a tougher section of the river, with a series of small waterfalls. It was a thrill. But in a split second, the current changed with a force I'd never felt before. My kayak was pulled sideways and slammed against a hidden rock at the bottom of a waterfall. The sheer force of the water just folded the boat around the rock and pinned me underneath, trapped in the churning, icy chaos. The panic was instant and electric. Not the flailing kind of panic. My training kicked in. I tried to pull the skirt of the kayak, tried to push myself free, but the pressure of the water was just immense, like a building was sitting on my chest. I was completely trapped. My lungs were on fire, screaming for air that wasn't there. And I knew, with a certainty that was somehow colder than the water, that this was it. I was going to die. In that last moment, when my body had absolutely nothing left, something inside me just let go. I stopped fighting, and I had a single, clear thought that felt like a prayer. God, your will be done. I completely surrendered. The second I had that thought, this incredible peace just washed over me. The burning in my lungs stopped. The terror vanished. And then, I felt my spirit break free. Suddenly I was rising up, weightless, out of the river. I could see the chaos below me. I saw my own body, pale and still, pinned in the wreck of my kayak. I saw my friends on the shore, their faces just masks of horror, scrambling to get to me. But I didn't feel any pain or fear. All I felt was this glorious lightness, a peace that just made no sense. I wasn't part of the tragedy anymore. I was watching it, wrapped in this impossible calm. Section 3. The Journey into the Light. Once I was free, my awareness shifted. The scene on the river started to fade, and I felt myself being drawn into a kind of passageway. People often call it a tunnel, and that's the closest word for it, but it wasn't a tunnel made of anything. It was a space of comforting darkness, not empty at all. I was moving, getting faster and faster, toward this brilliant, beautiful light at the far end. The journey wasn't scary, not at all. It felt like coming home. I felt pulled, like by a magnet, toward a place my soul had always known, even if my mind had forgotten. The light got brighter and brighter, but it was a warm, living light that didn't hurt to look at. It was pulsing with an energy that felt exactly like pure love. I just knew, without anyone telling me, that something wonderful was about to happen and that I was being welcomed. Section 4, the heavenly encounter, home. Coming out of that tunnel was like stepping into a whole new reality. I was in a place so beautiful I don't have the words for it. The colors were more vivid than anything on earth. It was like seeing a million new colors for the first time. There were rolling hills and fields of flowers that seemed to glow with their own light. An overwhelming feeling of peace and joy was in the very air. It was a sense of belonging, of being completely, totally home in a way I'd never imagined. And then I saw them. Beings of light, radiant and shimmering, came to greet me. I didn't recognize all of them with my earthly memory, but on a soul level, I knew them. I knew they were my spiritual family. We didn't speak with words. Everything was just understood instantly, mind to mind. Their joy at seeing me was like a physical wave of love that washed over me. They led me toward an even greater brilliance, and it was there that I was met by a central figure, a being of such intense light and love that it was almost overwhelming. In my heart, with every fiber of my being, I knew I was in the presence of Jesus Christ. He didn't have to speak. He just held me. It was an embrace more real and solid than any hug I've ever had. And in that embrace, I was filled with a love so profound, so unconditional, that it felt like it healed every hurt and fear I'd ever carried. It was the feeling of a parent holding their child, just pouring pure love into them. I understood that this love wasn't something you earn. It's just what God is. I felt more alive, more aware, and more myself than I ever had in my life. Section 5, the return. It's not your time. As incredible as it was, I came to understand that I couldn't stay. The message wasn't in words, but it was a pure, undeniable knowing. It is not your time. You have to go back. I had zero desire to leave. I was home. But I was also shown that my work on earth wasn't finished. The message I was meant to bring back was simple. Love. I was supposed to share what I experienced, to tell people that this love is real and personal, and that we don't need to be afraid of death. I was shown that every single life has a purpose, that we're all connected in this beautiful, intricate way, and our time here is a chance to learn how to love others. Even though I resisted, the feeling that I had to return was gentle but firm. The journey back was instant. One moment I was in that place of perfect light, and the next, I slammed back into my body with a jolt that shook me to my core. The cold was a shock. The pain in my legs was excruciating. My body felt so heavy and clumsy after the lightness of my spirit. I gasped, and my lungs filled with water, and then, finally, with air as my friends managed to pull me to the shore. Section 6, the after, a new reality. My friends and the doctors were amazed I survived. I had been underwater without oxygen for a significant time, but the physical recovery, as hard as it was nothing compared to the challenge of fitting this huge spiritual experience back into my everyday life. For a long time, I felt like I had one foot in this world and one foot in that one. The person who went into that river is not the person who came out. My fear of death is completely gone. For me, it has been replaced by a deep, personal certainty of a loving reality beyond this one. My priorities are completely different now. The logic of engineering is still how my brain works, but it serves a deeper truth I now hold, the truth of God's love that I experienced. My purpose now feels crystal clear, to share my story and the reassurance that we are loved more deeply than we can ever imagine, and that what's waiting for us is something beautiful, not scary. This experience was truly the greatest gift of my life. My story is just my own, but there are so many people who have had experiences that point to a reality beyond this one. If this resonated with you, please subscribe for more stories that explore these profound encounters. And I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments. Have you had an experience like this? Or what do you believe happens after we die? Sharing our stories helps all of us. My journey taught me that we are so much more than just our physical bodies. We are souls on an incredible adventure. I believe there is a plan for us filled with hope, and at the center of it all is a love more real and powerful than anything on earth. Death isn't an end to be feared. It's a doorway, a transition back into the arms of that love.